Good morning, this is Sarah, your healthy carnivore in the UK. I'd like you to meet Sarah. I am 48, nearly 49 years old, and I am a carnivore. I'm on 110 days of ultra strict carnivore on my last ever restart. If you're new to my channel, I'm the crazy one. Mostly crazy because I've set up a channel and mostly so that I can help other people, but then other people can help me because I've messed around with carnivore since 2014. Yep, 2014. I had 9.5 years of wannabe carnivore, trying to be carnivore, getting left behind. And then on July the 22nd, a switch went off in my head and I decided to be carnivore forever, no matter what. No matter what it costs me, no matter how hard it's going to be, and no matter how long it's going to take for the weight loss to start. I'm not going to bang on about weight loss, but let's just say I'm not one of those great weight loss people. So if you're here for a stupendous weight loss channel, this may not be your place yet. I think it will be in the future. No, I know it will be in the future. We just don't know when that future is going to be. I haven't felt 100% in the last couple of weeks, and I think it's to do with the weather. Not going to talk about that for too long, by the way. But the reason I am telling you that is because I have brought back weak black tea into my life, and it's going to stay in my life until March. Or it's going to stay in my life until we have the sun come out again. Because you've heard the expression under the weather. You've probably heard that expression. I'm under the weather at the moment. I am feeling down. I'm feeling emotional. I'm waking up with catarrh in my sinuses and my throat. And I think it's to do with this. That's all I'm going to say about that. I just think it's to do with that. Most people don't agree with me. That's okay. It's okay not to agree with me. My husband thinks I'm insane for thinking it. He's fine. He's got his opinion. You know, I've said on this channel many times, if I want people to respect that I have an opinion, I have to respect they have an opinion. But I personally think the way I feel is because of the weather. And so until the sun comes out, I'm drinking weak black tea. So yes, small amounts of oxalates are back in for now. Bite me. I want to tell you because I don't want you to think I'm still doing it, because that's living a lie. We had my best friend Keith yesterday calling me a liar yesterday. So, you know, I've got to make sure that every day the information I give you is absolutely spot on. I had about, I don't know, maybe 10 to 12 days of, can't remember the exact number of actual days that I was 100% oxalate free, but they have crept back in for a small amount of time, and I'm going to worry about it when the sun comes out or it's spring. So I'm kind of eating a bit like Mitch now at Old Guy Carnivore, in that I am having that one or two plant-based drinks in the day, but all my food is 100% carnivorous. No sweet tastes, no seed oils. People wave at me. No seed oils, no sweet taste at all, not 1 single gram of sugar, not 1 single gram of sweetener. I dodged a bullet yesterday again because, weirdly, I wanted a protein bar again. Didn't have it. Don't know where this little obsession's coming from. I'm blaming the weather. Because when the sun shines, this is a breeze to me. But let's talk about where we'd be. The whole topic of this video is, where would we be without carnivore? And I always think of this because if I'm having a day where I am a bit down, probably set off by the weather, then blaming it on the fact that I can't lose weight, that isn't my problem. That isn't my problem. It's the weather that's the problem, but I'm blaming it on not being able to lose weight, right? Where am I going with this? I always like to think, where would I be if I hadn't found it? So I'm just trying to decide whether to go back to, I'm deciding whether to go back to July the 22nd or whether to go all the way back to December 2014 and imagine a scenario of where would I be? Well, if I hadn't done it in July, let's go with July, right? At the moment, my total weight loss at the moment is, and I think it's water loss. There may be a little bit of fat loss in there, but without a full body scan and one of those big scanning things, I don't know. But at the moment, my weight loss is actually 13.5 pounds of inflammation water weight. I did weigh myself this morning because I was just curious because I'm going around the circles now. I'm going around in circles now. I still haven't gotten to the topic. We're 5 minutes and 36 seconds in and I'm still not actually talking about it's all leading in. It is all leading into this topic. Morning, Tanya, on your walk. Be careful out there. Not that you need to. I just think it's brave going for a walk in the dark because I watch too many TV programs that make you think there's something to be scared of and it really isn't. Anyway, that's off the topic again. Let's go with, I did Lion Diet for half term, didn't I? And I lost 3. It turned out to be 3.5 pounds. When all said and done, it ended up being 3.5 pounds off. And I said to you guys, now that I'm back at work, I'm probably going to go back to mixed carnivore and just have all of the things. And I have been, not dairy, but I have been having the chicken and the pork belly and just generally just having bacon and eggs from the morning. And as soon as I get in from work, a load of pork belly. Have I had any fish? I haven't had any fish this week, not yet. Long story short, trying to keep it brief. The 3.5 pound hasn't come back on yet. Interesting, because I thought that a week of Lion, this is interesting for me. It's all one big experiment, isn't it? I thought that the weight that I lost from the Lion Diet that I did last week would just come rebounding back on this week with my mixed food. And I got on the scale this morning, waiting to see that rebound and waiting to just be in a strop in the shower. And it hadn't come back. And I just thought, okay, interesting. So for the moment, I'm keeping the scales down for a bit longer. Because I'm pretty joyful this morning. I'm pretty happy in the main. I didn't wake up miserable. I didn't have a really bad dream and wake up all emotional and stuff like that. So where would I be in July? Let's try and get into it now. 7 minutes 48, and I'm now going to get into what I was going to talk about. Where would I be? So at the moment, I'm 13.5 pound down from July the 22nd. It's not earth shattering. By this point, Kerry had lost 50 pounds, but that's his journey. This is my journey. We don't compare to others. We only compare to ourselves. That's what I said last year, and I need to keep reminding myself of that because comparing myself to others is doing my mental health no good whatsoever. Where would I be? Well, if I'd have carried on eating the way I was in July and then gone on that family vacation and eaten all the things, if you live in the UK and you've been to Cornwall, you'll know what I mean. There would have been a huge gain because I may struggle with weight loss, but maintaining, I'm an expert, and gaining, supersonic expert, right? So I'm just thinking, I'm probably 30 pound down than what I would be had I not got going. That is a potential reality here. You know, I've been through all sorts of different things. I've had to ride out some situations in the last 110 days, ride out the family holiday, ride out the thing with my son's teeth, ride out with, disappointments and difficult days, bad weather days, stressful days, tiring days. There would have been some serious weight gain, serious, if I hadn't pulled myself together on July the 22nd. So on a short-term basis, from a short-term point of view, I'd probably be 30 pound heavier than I am now. I'd probably have more skin tags. I've lost, out of the 15 skin tags I had, I've lost nearly all of them apart from 3. Those skin tags would not have fallen off. I would still be looking at them feeling sad. I'd be feeling desperate. I'd be feeling frustrated. Certainly wouldn't be watching any carnivore content. Certainly no optimism for the future. That mole on my back, that has now partially fallen off, possibly worse, panicking about it. My plantar fasciitis in my feet would be incredibly painful, to the point where I'm seriously questioning my career choice. Can't be on my feet all day with plantar fasciitis, right? And if I just kept going and said, to hell with it. This is what would have happened if I'd have said, to hell with it. To hell with it. I'm just giving this up forever. I'm not doing this ever. Wow. The thought of it. The thought of where I'd be sitting here right now. But as it turns out, I have lost that pain. That mole did fall off. Those skin tags did fall off. I have no brain fog, apart from the fact that this weather makes me feel a little bit grotty in the mornings, which is, I believe, because I've only been feeling like this since this weather started, but let's not be controversial. I'm sure this weather's completely natural and supposed to be like this. And definitely, well, I wouldn't have had that 13.5 pound weight loss. There'd probably be more likely a 13.5 pound weight gain. Heading towards Christmas, nothing fits. Having to go out and buy some more bigger clothes. All of that sounds horrible. All of that sounds horrible. So I think sometimes if you are one of these people who struggles with the weight loss, and you are one of those maintainers, just try and spend a little bit of time thinking about what it was like to be out of control. And now let's talk about what would have happened if I'd never found carnivore in the first place. Well, in 2014, I was ready for a change, and I could have been dragged down any route. I could have gone down to the doctors and gone on the medication route. I could have accidentally ended up on a plant-based page and ended up vegan. I mean, worse. With my hormones, worse. Or I could have just done nothing and said, I could have gone down that path of those women that like to promote obesity. Big is beautiful. Beauty and health at every size type people. They mean well. They do mean well. And I kind of get what they're saying. At the same time, being obese is leading us to a path of unhealth. And I believe those women that do that have just tried all the diets. Didn't get fixed. So thought, to hell with it. I'm just going to celebrate who I am. I've had that thought. I'm sure we all have at some point. I'm sure most women in their 40s, 50s and 60s have thought, to hell with it, nothing works. I'll just celebrate who I am. I'm big and beautiful. I'm just big. And that's it. In reality, inside they're hurting mentally, probably physically as well. And that would have been me. And definitely then the medication path would have been inevitable. Probably on metformin by now. The year that I discovered carnivore, one of my best friends was just diagnosed as diabetic. I'm hearing of people all the time around the age of 40 being put on all kinds of medication that I don't want to take. I'd like to think I would have found carnivore eventually. I like to think that if I hadn't found it in 2014, I'd have found it now, because I'm so open-minded and so critical and so curious and open to information that I think I would have found it anyway. But let's think about what weight I'd be right now if I hadn't done carnivore in 2014 and said, to hell with it. 50 pound more than I am now, 100 pound more than I am now, 150 pound more than I am now. All of these things are realities with these hyper-processed foods. I know that the UK foods aren't quite as hyper-processed as in the US. I believe now we've had a change of president. This may start to change. We can only hope. We can only hope that they start looking closely at those ultra-processed foods and thinking about how we can cut them down, because I'm seeing quite a lot of videos recently. I'm seeing quite a lot of comparisons with the UK to US foods. It's frightening. I've seen them compare, soft drinks and even down to cereals and everything. There's just but even without all those added things, the sugar and carb addiction would have made me very, very poorly. I can't even imagine how it must be to be so big you literally can't get up off the floor at all with with, you know, I know what it's like. I've seen it with my mum. But then she wasn't that way because of her size. She was that way because she was just so sick that her body, her muscles had just given up, and she just couldn't get up. And it took about 4 or 5 or 6 people at once to get her up off the floor. You know, I don't want that happening to me. So I think I'm just counting my blessings today. I'm counting my blessings. I'm thinking, thank goodness I found it. Thank goodness I found Carnivore. Thank goodness I've got a big long laundry list of things that now don't bother me anymore. Thank goodness I made that decision on July the 22nd. And I am going to 365 days, no matter what. It's just a matter of whether it's going to be easy or hard. I've said this lots of times, and I mean it. I could drag myself through a bush, beat myself up all day, but I'm still going to keep doing it because I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Stopping is worse. Stopping is worse. There are lots and lots of people that would have got to 110 days and seen how much weight they haven't lost and quit. But quitting is worse, because quitting puts you in that hopeless place where nothing's going to get better. Nothing's going to get better for you. Things are just going to get worse. And so you're going to have to come back to it. You're going to have to come back to it because you want to get rid of that hopelessness. Kerry talks about it. Being hopeless. And I'm not hopeless. I'm disappointed some days. Some days being on Carnivore is like scooting along in the waves, down at the beach where the wet sand is, and you've got gentle waves trickling around your toes and the sun in your eyes. That's what it's like 95% of the time on Carnivore. But 5% of the time, it's like trudging up a sand dune. I'm looking forward to when my body's finally healed, because then it will feel like walking around in the little delicate waves of the sun on my face all the time. And that is coming for me. And that's why I keep going, because I know that is coming. If I quit, I'm going to be walking up sand dunes every day. All the while I'm not losing weight, it does feel like that sometimes. Maybe I need to go to Portugal for a month on my own. Maybe I need to get sacked today. That would be fun. And then message my family from Portugal and say, yes, I just couldn't stand the weather anymore. Couldn't stand it. I'm now in Portugal. I'm walking through on the sand. The nice bit, the bit where the waves are. It's easy. But yes. So yes, I am back on week black tea, a couple of cups in the morning, nothing extreme, not an extreme amount of caffeine, not an extreme amount of plant. But if not having it makes me more miserable, I'd rather just have it. Because if having it, if when I wake up in the morning, I'm looking forward to that thing, and waking up optimistic is going to keep me going on the carnivore journey, then that's what it's going to be. Waking up to just hot water in a mug just wasn't exciting me. It wasn't getting me out of bed. So if I need to do that until March, when we start to get the warmer weather coming back, then that's what it's going to be. So I need to be honest with you. You need to know exactly what I'm doing at any given time. Yeah. So now we've got right to the end. I'm going to tell you why I dodged a bullet yesterday, because I know that it's only the people that truly care about my journey that are going to get this far, right to the end. And I might as well tell you the story. But I think there was a sign. I don't know who's looking out for me up there, but I think maybe it's my nan or somebody. Maybe it's my mum. Maybe she's now totally supporting my carnivore journey. Maybe she's listened in it. She passed away a couple of years ago. Maybe she's listening into my videos and going, crap, I think Sarah was right, actually. I think she actually does need to stay carnivore, because somebody was looking out for me yesterday, and I'll tell you why. Yesterday lunchtime, I went looking. this is stop now, because I've now seen this as a sign from the divine. This is like, I'll get on with the story. But don't panic. It's not going to happen again. But yesterday lunchtime, I was in such a bad mood. I think to do with the weather, again. And I wanted to go out and find a protein bar. It's not going to happen again, I promise you, because I've had my sign and I've seen that sign. It came down from me from above somewhere. I only have half an hour on my lunch, so I went out in my car. I went to one shop, which is the shop that's attached to the fuel station. They were shut down for refurbishment. So I turned my car around and I wanted to go down to a grocer shop down that way. There was a massive funeral going on in the middle of my village. This is not a joke. I have photo evidence, actually. In fact, I'm going to pop the photo in here to prove it. I was stuck in traffic. This is evidence, right? I'll pop it in here. Evidence. I went down to another shop to try and find a protein bar. Couldn't get down to the shop because there was this funeral procession. Not joking. There will never be lies on this channel. Couldn't get to the shop. Had to turn the car around, go somewhere else. So then I ended up in the little farm shop, little health food farm shop place where my eldest son works on a Saturday morning, looking in there. They didn't sell them. And I got back in my car and I thought, this is a sign. This is a sign. What else can it be? I was going to deliberately sabotage myself today. It was only going to be once. I was just going to do it once. And I was going to tell everyone afterwards and say, I had one protein bar. You don't have to follow me anymore. You don't have to follow me anymore. I have messed up my string of perfection. But I've done it. And I didn't. And I got back in the car and I drove back to work in a strop. And I thought, this is a sign. Someone's actually... I've been prevented here from having that. I was prevented from stopping. And for the rest of the day, I thought, somebody's looking out for me somewhere here, because I was not meant to have that protein bar. I was not meant to do it. And I'm never going to forget that. I think does anyone believe in that kind of thing? I don't know. But long story short, I went out in a grump. I was going to have some king prawns as well. The original plan was to buy some of my favourite king prawns, but also have the protein bar. Eat the protein bar first. Get it over and done with. Done. Have a little moment. Get it done. And then eat the lovely king prawns, and then that's it. That's the moment done. Out of the system, done. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. I didn't get any lunch. I ended up having a 2-minute break because I did all this driving around. Nothing. Went home, stuffed myself silly full of pork belly, and then continued with my life. So that's the truthful story about what happened yesterday. It was pathetic, but I think it's now sorted. It is sorted. So I can still absolutely truthfully say, still not had any sweetener, still not had any sugar. And also they got dairy in those as well, haven't they? And they've got soy protein in there as well. I dodged a bullet there. Something happened there. So anyway, that's my video of the day. My name is Sarah. I'm a severe carb addict on 110 days of remission. And gonna get there. Gonna get there. Last little bit before I go. I seem to have some shape change. It's interesting to me how you can, or maybe I'm just imagining it, but it seemed I've lost a couple of inches off my thighs, but I've also, it's only the people that are my real friends that are going to get right to the end, so I can say this. The bit under my bust area, the bit at the top of my rib cage, right just generally under the bust area, when I look in the mirror, that bit seems to have more definition. Don't know if that's true. I don't measure that area. I normally only measure my thigh and my smallest part around my waist. So They're the only things I can relate to with the tape measure, but I'm thinking I may need to start measuring myself in other places, because I think my body is taking some fuel from other places. And then maybe building some muscle and some bone density. And that's why I'm not seeing it on the scales. But something's changing, and my body is definitely healing. So that's all I want to say. If you've got any sun, go and get it. If you've got any meat, go and eat it. If you've got any water, go and drink it. And do what it takes to be healthy and happy and thriving. And doing your best looks different every day. And I'll see you tomorrow on day 111. Take care, guys. Thank you for listening. Bye.